A very big lobster. You know lobsters? It's not a shrimp, it's a lobster, you know. Yeah, totally. And they have these claws, right? Yeah, and this one, it was like, and undersea things can look very big, and I was not, it seems like it was this size, and the eyes was shiny like this, and then it came towards me like this. Like this, and I think, oh no, I'm going to drown. I was also going to cut in pieces. I hope to drown first, and then I try to drown like, and then I feel, suddenly I feel the claw go to my collar here, and then it dragged me up like, and then it saved my life. The lobster saved my life, and I was sitting there, and then I throw up all the salt water, and there was some fish as well, and a shrimp, and then I saw the lobster. It was, this is still a big lobster, right? It was totally still. And when I was looking at it, suddenly the eyes stopped shining, like when you close, when you shut down a car, like. Bzz. And then I saw in the ass there was a propeller. Stop turning, and then it's a machine. It's not a normal. It's a kind of a machine. I think there's a boy with a remote control making fun of me, but I was alone in the harbor. I could just hear the ferry boats. And some birds, and then say, oh, that's really strange. And then in the back, there was a little trap door going up like this. And the ground light came out, and then a frog came out from inner the lobster. Hello, my name is Mambo. A frog with a crown on his head. It could talk like human language, and then it said it was a bewitched frog, a prince who turned into a frog, and it had been down in the sump for some while, but there's no people going there and no princess to kiss it, and so it was trying to find princesses all out in the salt water, where they swim around in the smart bikinis, you know. They do that in Denmark in the harbor, but the frogs, they can't live in salt water, you know, their skin, they can't. So he had to build a submarine from a lobster shell. I didn't believe him. That's a lie, right? Yeah, I did believe him. But it's such an old trick to charm the girls, saying you're a frog, right? Yeah. So, but I was pretty much impressed that he could speak the human language, right? And then he said, "What are you doing? A boy from 3rd degrees in the harbor in the middle of the winter time?" And then I say, "Oh me? I'm so bad at math and English, and then I'm in love with Maya. And Brian will beat me up, and my life is just such a..." "Hey, wait a minute," he said. "Actually, I'm a professor in math." "Yeah," the frog said, "and actually, and I can impersonate all voices. I can impersonate your father's voice. So if I hear your father in the phone, I can say the same, like, just like him. And your teacher, I can impersonate your teacher's voice, or the man in the news." And then suddenly he starts talking like the man in the news, and he said, "Good evening, this is the news. The baker from Northern 2nd Street, Dutch Hound, had 4 puppies. The 3 of them looked exactly like the Dutch Hound, except the last one, which looked just like the baker." Yeah. And I say, "Wow, this is just like the newsman." Yeah. And then the frog said, "Why don't I make my voice sound like you? And tomorrow, what about tomorrow in school, when the teacher asks you some questions you can't answer, then I can hide in your mouth?" "No, I don't think that's a good idea. No, that's enough, right? I don't want you in my mouth." "Hey, no worry," he said. "I can have a bath first. Yeah, and then I can hit under the tongue. You just have to have your mouth open a bit like this all the time, so I can breathe. And I hear what the teacher is saying, right? So, and you must promise me, don't swallow. "Oh yeah, can you imagine if I swallow the frog and it would become a prince in it would very, no, I won't swallow. But I did it. Next day, I went to the school and I had the mambo frog in my bag. And then outside the door, I waited till all the kids were going in. And then I just had him in my hand like this, and I just have to do like this, and then he jumped into my mouth by himself, right? And then it tried to be under my tongue, and it was very difficult to have a frog in my mouth. Can you believe that? Also because this crown was, sticky, so we put it out, and he had the crown here. It was more easy to have him in the mouth. And I was a little nervous. They should see that I had a fork in my mouth, so I had my hand up already from the beginning. I kind of like, yeah, hi, yeah. And then the teacher said, yes, Ben, what is 2 plus 2? And then the frog say, it's 4. My voice was like that when I was a child. Yeah, and what's 4 plus 4? That's 8. And what's 8 plus 8? That's 16. And what's 16 plus 16? That's 64. What's 64 plus 64? That's 128. All the other kids, they were sitting like this. How had I learned to make math in one night? And it went very well, but then the teacher get a little suspicious. And then he took the old math book, with lots of dust, and he said, what is 1,220 divided with 1,300 million and stuff like that, And then the frog just said, 13 and a half, and it was totally right. Yeah, it's just, it was like an counter machine, yeah. But then the frog saw Maya. Maya has turned his head. Oh, it was so embarrassing, I tell you, because then the frog starts to tell her small love poems. It tried to whisper, but the whole class could hear it, and it was very bad poems. It was something like, oh, beautiful Maya, I have to tell you this. My love, you shine like the sun, and you fill me with bliss. Yeah, your skin is white like snow, and your lips are red like cherry. Why don't we just run away and marry? Yeah, I want to give you everything more than money, because you're so sweet if I dip you in honey. Yeah, and yeah, my love is totally true, like violets are red and roses are blue. I try to close my mouth like this. Shut up! But then he took my jaws and put them open and talked. And Maya, she turned around and then she said, hi, how beautiful you talk. I would love you immediately if you didn't have that nose, sticking up nose and those big ears. And then the frog said with my voice, oh, no problem. I can just go to the hospital and make a plastic operation and have a nice face. And then then the Maya said, oh yes, and if you at the same time will have curly hair and black skin like a sunburned African, I would kiss you right away. You know what the frog said? I promise you. So then Maya took my color hair and want to kiss me, and I tried to get away. No! When I opened my mouth, the frog jumped out of my mouth and kissed Maya's lips and smash, cut, bang! The frog turned into a big African prince. Ola puntula mamma mia. Yeah, he had jaguar shorts, and big gold earrings, and yeah, big muscles, you know muscle, right? Yeah. And then he said, and Maya said, wow. He said, yeah. Go with me to Africa and be Africa's queen, yeah. And he said, yeah. And then smash, cut, bang, they had also a big silver wagon with some zebras and amazing, right, in the middle of the classroom. But then just before they were riding away, Mambo, he turned his head and said, oh, I'm sorry, Ben. I took the girl just away from you, but this was chance for a lifetime for me, a lifetime as a frog. Can you imagine being a frog for 5 years, saying quack, 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 and now I had the chance. There's lots of girls. You can be, half of the world is girls. You can have another girl. I have a little sister, he said. She's also a frog. Yeah. She's down in the sump, you know, somewhere, but she can't speak the human language, so why don't you just go down to the sump and kiss you a little around, you know? Ciao. And then they disappear in direction of Africa, and I feel really sorry for myself. Can you imagine that? And suddenly all the kids were going home. I was totally alone. I didn't want to go home, so I just walked around, and then after a while I was close to the sump because I could hear all the frogs quack, like, and I think maybe one of the frogs looked like a princess. Yeah. But when my eyes had located all the frogs, you know, there was thousands of frogs, and they were slimy, and they were so I just took the first one. It was a little lazy, but when I had it up, it was like doing like this, and then I kissed it, and smash bang, it turned out to a ostrich. Do you know? You know, the African bird, can't fly. Crazy. And then most of the frogs was normal frogs, but one of them turned into a tractor. Crazy, right? A tractor. Yeah, so I gave up. And then, unfortunately, I had a drum. We always had drums in the 60s to make us happy, all the schoolboys. So I took my drum and then trying to be happy. It didn't help much. But suddenly, when I was drumming, I saw in the middle of the sump, there was a little like bog, and there was some water lilies with leaves, and there was a little black, glossy frog jumping up to the leaves, and then it began to dance to my drums. It looked so funny. I play it's staying like this. Then I tempted closer, and then it goes like, and it came closer and closer, and then it was very close to me, and I made a nice ending, and it do like this. And then I took my hand down like this, and then it sit like this. And I kiss it, smash calabang. It turned out to the most beautiful Princess Samba. I was totally mad about her, and we lived ever very happiness, and we had a lot of kids. They looked a little like frogs, but doesn't matter when you are in love. Yeah. So it had really Who was that in the window there? Was it Carl? I think Carl's out there. Maybe I have a car parked over there. I have to go, I think. It's